He once described Kevin Rudd's emissions trading scheme as a lipstick on a pig. Don Voelte is the outspoken boss of Australia's biggest independent gas provider, Woodside. While he resides in the West, he's not afraid to push his weight around in Canberra. But like so many this year, Don Voelte is retiring.
We want every Australian that wants to work to have a job. It's not about the dollars. To me, I really almost take offense when somebody says it's going to be this much money over this many years.
Even Don Voelte says he's no shrinking violet.
It's a company I've really enjoyed working for, and it's the best job I've ever had.
After running Woodside for 7 years, he's bowing out.
I think Don Voelte will be remembered as one of the great chief executives in the Australian oil and gas sector. He has done an incredible job at Woodside.
The Nebraska-born petroleum chief is a civil engineer by trade. He worked with Mobil for 2 decades in the US, then packed up and headed to Western Australia to run Woodside.
Somebody you wrote was, "Who the hell is this guy?"
When Don Voelte arrived, he brought with him a nickname from his previous job, which was High Voltage. He was a very active manager. He was very go-get-em, and he did. And quite a few people at Woodside couldn't take the heat in the kitchen, and they left, voluntarily or otherwise. And he brought his own people in. And yes, he, for his first 6 years, was really doing a wonderful job.
Don Voelte managed to get the $10 billion Pluto project approved, funded and developed. Pluto still isn't finished, but that didn't stop Don Voelte from looking for his next challenge, and he found it off the Kimberley coast in the Browse Basin.
Pretty excited. This is probably the second best day of Browse ever, as far as I'm concerned. The first day being the day we found it.
He's now reached the point where there are a whole series of projects which are either in abeyance because they can't move forward, such as Browse Basin gas, such as Timor gas. He's in dispute with Shell. They're still the biggest shareholder in Woodside. And I think he recognises that he's reached the end of his tenure and what he can bring to that company. He knows it's time to bring fresh management in.
Broome conservationists believe they found their strongest ally yet in their fight to stop a gas hub being built just north of the town.
I am committed until the last day I draw breath to have it stay as it is.
For Don Voelte, 2010 was a year of grappling with the Indigenous and environmental sensitivities that come with nation-building developments.
We're not up there looking for a fight. We're up there trying to develop a project.
I think Woodside's obviously had some, ups and downs, and there's, still kind of a few things to get through before they have some clear air. But Woodside in general has done, very well under his leadership. I think he's a very forceful but very effective chief executive, and I think that's, very clear to everyone.
Getting Browse over the line will now be in the hands of the next Woodside boss.
I'm pretty sure he's one of those Americans who will go home after his tenure here. I think he's been a good citizen in Australia, as good as any American could be.
He's obviously can go back to Nebraska, but he's clearly, had a great time in Perth and become very involved in the community there. So I think he will go back to the States, but will probably continue to spend quite a bit of time in his adopted state.